Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Survivor Guide. My name is Mage, but today I should be known as Griff. Introduce yourself.
I'm a friend of Griff's. We're gonna go by Volley today, just to make things a little easier for everybody.
We got back from Reckoning last week. At this time last week, today's Monday.
Yeah, we got back
We got back Tuesday?
Tuesday morning at 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm. At this time last week, we were living in the mud, packing up a whole bunch of crap. And did we have the pizza party Monday or?
No.
No, because we
Yes.
left Tuesday.
No.
When was the tornado? No, because
Sunday. The tornado was Sunday.
No, Sunday. But then
Maybe we should have written down the timeline.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, we had a great time. So, this is exactly how my videos go, of me just like stopping and doing stuff.
Long story short, we showed up at Reckoning on
Actually,
Build
we
Day.
haven't instead Reckoning yet. That's the issue.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
You said we just got back from Reckoning.
Did we? Crap, yeah.
We went to Reckoning. We showed up on Build Day, which was Thursday of last week, and it was pouring down rain. Already at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm. It was like heavy rain.
Trailers were getting stuck. Cars were getting stuck. They were unloading trailers to try and move them off of the gravel pathway. Starting to get backed up, and we're all hopping out, and we're helping unload, and then we're unhooking trailers and moving them by hand off of the road so people can continue to show up for Build Day.
It was a period of time between I think 9 and like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it was just
Had people arriving. It was the entire time. I was soaking wet, and my shoe. Yeah, I had to throw out my shoes after this whole week.
Yeah, I did too.
So yeah, we did a whole lot of scrap. So you can tell, what was your experience during Build Day? Like, what was the main thing you did? Because I didn't see you. I didn't see you hardly at all during the first day.
I don't even remember what I did, man. Everything from the first 2 days is an absolute blur. I know first day we set up the big staff tent, and then everybody divided into multiple groups. I think you were with the group that went to the storage unit. You didn't go to the storage unit?
On premise the entire time.
Wow, okay. Well, we went with the Lowe's group, because we also picked up stuff for sunshades. Because we were like, if it's going to rain, we're going to want some cover, and I just don't have, like, the lumber for it. We had the tarps, we just didn't have the lumber. My brain is still mush, guys. But not as mushy as the swamp.
Not as mushy as the swamp. So, from the site, which was in London, Kentucky, it was about 20 minutes to the nearest, like, proper city, proper civilization.
Store of any kind.
You were gone for, like,
Ever.
over an hour and a half, maybe 2 or 3 hours.
I think it was like 2 hours. We were gone for ages. Because even though it really only takes 20 minutes, those roads are so narrow and windy and have such sharp drop-offs that none of us were particularly comfortable driving them. And when you add a trailer behind a truck, we were going maybe 35, kind of at max, on these roads that are 55-mile-an-hour speed limits. Not moving very fast down the roads. So we're not making it in 20 minutes. It really ends up being closer to 30 or 40 minutes, both directions. And then you add on to it finding all the lumber and the rope.
Actually, it's time spent in the store.
Yeah, and getting the correct nails so that you can drive them into the top of the boards. Tack on to that, we're also helping staff.
Yeah.
Do the same thing. And we're opening sections of, like, the wood pallets with the 2x2s. And they're just covered in mold. And we're like,
oh, I didn't hear this part.
I don't want that.
I didn't hear this part.
Yeah, because I didn't have much of a reason to share it, I guess. But there were dozens of them that just had mold all over the wood boards. And we're like, no.
How many mulch bags do you think we bought? Like
Mulch bags in total on the run that I did on Saturday morning was 47. 47 mulch bags. We easily had more than 50 because I know for a fact there were more than 3 mulch bags put down by the check-in tent.
During the first day with the mulch bags, the staff bought had to have been at least 12.
Yeah.
So probably 60 to 70 mulch bags. My story for Build Day is a bit different. I actually didn't leave the premises of that place for the entirety of the weekend. I was there the entire time. And what they had me doing was to build bridges. There was a little ditch that ran along the whole way, water, stuff like that, and the whole goal was to build bridges out of some lumber. I was a part of 4 different bridge teams. I was trying to build the bridge, but people either kept disappearing. They had a weird thing of like, they said at first only a few people could use the power tools. And so I was like, oh, I'll let them do it, but then those people disappeared. And eventually, I was like, I don't give a crap. I'm building a bridge. And so I started building a bridge by myself, and then people came in, and then we finally built a bridge. But a lot of what I did was doing a lot of heavy manual labor. There was a lumber pile from a nearby lumber mill. It was a bunch of rejects, bunch of logs, planks, good stuff. And so what we did is we started chucking down those logs to make either a bridge or like a pathway. The whole property is a sort of kind of farmland thing built on a hill, and there was a road that ran from one side all the way to the other, kind of like by the main road. And it was all like dirt and like grass and stuff like that. It was bad. We'll get into why that was an issue later. I don't want to step on Staff's toes, but we'll get into that later. But essentially, it wasn't graveled. And so what they had us do is they placed wood down so cars wouldn't get stuck. Cars got stuck. Eventually, Staff, the amazing people they are, they bought a gravel truck.
Not 1 gravel truck. 6 gravel trucks.
I thought it was 4.
No, it was 6 total gravel trucks. Between the circle around the house and the out-of-game parking. 6.
Dump trucks.
Dump trucks.
Dump trucks.
Full dump trucks.
Like, the size of this room.
It's storming again. I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it.
PTSD.
Maybe
Maybe just a little bit. That's kind of around the point where there was like the weird thing of like some people could go start setting up their temps, and that is officially where the Vatican Swamp came to be.
Yeah.
There are 4 factions in Reckoning. Hadrian's, Suzak Moor, Rivland, and our faction, the Vatican. These sort of Viking cold region peoples. And our color was blue.
Boo.
And we had one of the lowest sections in a literal swamp. Everything would have been okay. Everything would have been okay if it didn't storm the entire week.
Mm-hmm.
It got so muddy, it got so rough that we were living in a bog. I think the deepest I ever saw was about 6 to 7 inches of mud, of like my foot going down.
Yep.
Yep.
Or just the standing water on top.
It was bad. It was bad. We'll get into that later. But around that point, that's when we started building the Great Vatican Bridge. What that was is, like the other bridges, they were actual like nails and screwed in, like actual proper like...
Built to bridge a gap.
Exactly.
Where there is nothing underneath it.
This was...
A boardwalk.
A boardwalk. That's a good way to say it. A boardwalk made out of boards.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we started picking up these large lumber, and I'm pretty proud of myself on some of them, just throwing them down into a huge line.
Yeah, because that one, after the last storm, with all the water and everything,
It was bad.
Oh my lord.
As much as we're complaining, a lot of the factions did also have trouble.
Yeah.
But I will say, we had the most trouble, because we lived in it.
Mm-hmm. The other factions were muddy, but they weren't soupy muddy.
Soupy muddy. Like,
we literally started calling it the Vatter Hills and the Vatter Swamps, because we were divided in 2 by a brush line, and the people at the top were on a hill, so they were the hills, and those of us
relegated
below the brush line are in the Vatter Swamp. Can we talk about how we weren't supposed to be there?
Actually, I don't know much about this, so I'll let you take over.
Okay. So, I'm going to try and be really neutral about this. I am frustrated by it, though, so I don't know how well I'm going to do at that. But essentially, from my understanding, from talking to staff and other people who were there on build day and such, is that it was supposed to be graveled. That circle drive around the main house of the property was supposed to be graveled upon arrival. So was the Vatter Swamps. It was supposed to originally be the out-of-game parking, from what I've been told.
That was the out-of-game parking?
That was supposed to be the out-of-game parking. So that was supposed to be graveled, and the circle drive was supposed to be graveled. The Vatican camp wasn't even supposed to be where it was. It was supposed to be in a field beyond where we were. But they never took down the fence, and they never mowed the lawn. Like, they never mowed the field to where we could be over there. Mm-hmm. It was far, because it's several acres. I think it was still less than 10, but it was several acres of land that we're traversing to get back and forth anywhere. I will say, one cool thing that came about is we got really good at the boardwalk. Really
good. And so it was really fun because you could tell people who lived there for a minute and other factions because we could speed through it while everyone else would be slowed behind.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was cool.
After they called the game, we were packing up and I realized that I had left my violin in my tent. And Revna needed Revna is a friend of ours. She's one of us, Vatican. Her tent was right next to ours. But we went, like, loping across this boardwalk. Just, like, doop, 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 doop. Super easy, super fast, super fine. And then the next day, people were coming across who weren't Vatican. And they were, like, struggling.
So, that was build day.
That was build day.
Build day was, build day was originally supposed to be...
Just Thursday.
One day.
Just Thursday.
It got extended to 2 days because not a lot of work got done.
Because we had the storm coming in and everyone was trying to get set up. And over the course of those 2 days, I was the most stressed out I think I've really ever been. Every time I tried to do anything to get my stuff in order, here came the megaphone with build crew assembled by the staff tent. I'm
going to pause the conversation. Staff did great. Staff did way better. I'm just going to put this as a huge disclaimer. Staff did the best they could. It was great. Still a few issues, but like...
Most of it is because I took on more responsibility than I could really handle and put a lot of stress on myself that I didn't need to have. What are they calling me?
Camp Mom.
Yeah.
She's Camp Mom. Camp Mom. We'll get in discussions on all you who you mommed and stuff like that.
Everybody.
She mommed a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yes, my whole point was staff did a great.
They did.
We are definitely coming back next year.
Oh, yeah.
One of the issues I did have doing build day is we would get pulled in so many different directions. Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned, I was on the bridge team. People kept getting pulled away to do stuff. It was really confusing. There wasn't really a lot of structure. And there was a point where people would start setting up their tents, get called back, and then they'd say, oh, you can do your tent. Oh, but then get called back. It happened a lot. And then Teary, poor Teary.
Yeah. A lot of it, too, was there just wasn't enough staff. I learned fairly recently that 3 staff members were not able to make it.
Oh, really?
So the staff that was there was kind of filling in gaps and trying to put out fires and fill in a bog. They did so good.
They did so good for what they had. I'll get into the story later, but there's a particular thing of just seeing how tired some of the staff were. So Liam was, I think Big Liam's probably the best way, because there's also another Liam who's small Liam.
Yes, so it's confusing because there's one that's legal name is Liam, and he's staff. And then there's in-game Liam, who is also staff.
Yes.
But he, I think, is one of the owners.
I didn't know that part. It was really confusing. But basically, let's just say Big Liam.
Tall Liam.
I'll get into the story later, but there was a point where it was actually terrifying to see how exhausted he was. Yeah. It was the middle of the night. I met him in the dark, not having a good time. But that's a story that I have to get to later. You've already mentioned the soft game, so I think that's what we'll do next.
Yeah.
Game start.
Before game start. Because Teary, you want to talk about Teary.
Teary, I do want to talk about Teary. Because
Teary is a freaking champion.
She's amazing, lovely woman.
Mm-hmm. She brought her ATV and a trailer, and helped everybody else get all their stuff up to their camps, and didn't arrive at the spot where we'd set aside a camp spot for her until after it was dark. And I mean, like, dark.
It's summer.
So probably easily 10 o'clock at night.
It's summer, so it was 10 o'clock. It got dark at, I think sunset was at 9-ish?
About, yeah. So she doesn't even make it back to her campsite until then. And I was like, you know what? It's too dark. We're not going to get your tent set up tonight. You're going to just bunk with me. So she bunked with me the rest of the game. we still never got the roost set up, which is our merchant collective thing that we wanted to do.
So we can go into that. So we had a group of people that we went with, and it was all this is idea we've been cooking up for months. Terry is one of the main ones about it.
It's supposed to be her cart, her setup.
Her thing.
Yeah.
And just because we did so much work, she helped so many people. She wasn't really able to get it help. We couldn't help her set up, and we couldn't help us get this set up. The Roost is, like you said, a collective. It is a group of merchants. I think at this point, since we're sort of getting into the soft game stuff, we're talking about the Roost, we should probably talk about our characters.
Oh, Lord. More character talk.
Wait.
Does that mean you go first?
Wait. Yeah, I'll go first. So this week, this reckoning, I went as Griff. Griff, the map maker or cartographer. He is, like I said, a map maker from the clan Harafnan. We are, of course, the Vatican up in the far north of the world known as the March. And he's traveled, he's done stuff, and he recently traveled with his father on an expedition where his father was killed. He made the trip back to his village, and then all the way back to where the site was for the in-game World of Reckoning. This is Valley.
No! Volley is a potionsmith from the Harafan clan.
Same clan.
Who actually was friends with Griff growing up because he was friends with her older siblings.
The leather workers.
Yes, my family are leather workers in the game on my dad's side. And then my mother is actually part of what the clan calls the Hellsguard, which are essentially our warrior faction. There's a lot of goofy stuff with how the clan is structured that we probably don't need to go into.
Mm-hmm.
It's more interesting if you find out in game.
Exactly, so join us.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of secret stuff for both of our characters.
Mostly yours.
There's a lot of
Mine
stuff
just
mine.
involved with him.
If I was to describe one thing with Reckoning, before we get into the actual game, is unrealized potential. I had a lot of stuff going in that I wanted to sort of get out with Griff's character. Not any main character stuff, but just like an interesting character. And a lot of stuff just didn't get realized. Whether that's the Roost, or our camp setup, or just really the game as itself as a whole, just never really got to its full potential.
And a lot of that has to do with we really only got 26 hours of gameplay. It started at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and they called it by 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Something like that.
Because of a tornado. That was 20 minutes from us.
Mm-hmm. As far as I know, 22 people died. Mm-hmm. That's what my mom texted me. So we were lucky. We had, at Reckoning, 300 people. Mm-hmm. That could have been, like...
It could have been a much higher toll. Mm-hmm. If it had been a little bit closer.
Yeah, like 300 of us.
Jammed in a barn. The dojo. It was a barn.
I do want to talk about that, actually, with the barn.
I don't.
So, I don't know if you know this, but do you know why the barn was built?
To be a tavern.
No, actually, do you know how? So, you know how
The shed was the reckoning money.
The shed was okay. I thought the barn was. Mm-mm. Okay.
So, you know where all that gravel money went? To a shed that the property owner built.
That makes it even funnier because, like, at least with the money
that we couldn't use.
Oh yeah, we couldn't use it. But that makes it even funnier because at least with the big dojo tavern thing, I could see where the money went. That small barn. Yeah,
It's still unacceptable. Like that is.
It's hugely unacceptable.
You are using money that was paid to you for a specific purpose.
In a contract.
In a contract. Like a signed contract between both parties. And you're using it for other things.
Which royally screwed the entirety of the players.
Yes, yeah. It made build day so much harder. It made everything take so much longer.
We spent hours pulling out like 8 to 10 trucks, not to mention all the cars.
There were easily a dozen vehicles that got stuck. Easily. On the first day.
With trailers. U-Haul or a flatbed or anything like that.
Joel got my truck stuck.
There was a camper that got stuck as well.
At the gate, I remember that.
At the gate. And then, Liam's truck got stuck in the ditch. I don't know if you were there for that. So there was a ditch, probably want to say about that big, and his truck got stuck in it. And so, a bunch of, like, the biggest Vatican guys, or biggest guys there, and then little bitty me,
Well, to be fair, most of build team was Vatican.
It must be Team was Vatican. We were all at the front doing our best to shove it up. And the only reason we got it was because another truck of the exact same make and model went behind it with a tow strap and pulled it out. Anyway, as we saw the characters, we argue about the lady who will be unnamed for this. Apparently she is well known in the SCA community. I knew this talking in the Living Anachronism Discord. Apparently she is known. Anyway, let's get to soft game start. It was really cool. It was really cool at the start of seeing mostly everyone in full kit.
Not me.
She wasn't. Tiri was trying.
Tiri was busy running everyone else's stuff.
She was busy trying. She did have a cloak. I did have because I held a cloak while doing the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Like we said, a lot of stuff got messed up. Originally, safety briefing was supposed to be at the start. It got split just because time and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the soft start was non-canon, meaning while we were still able to like play our characters and be in kit and do things, nothing affected the game of Reckoning once it started the next morning.
No lasting consequences, to be fair. Whether that was money, money exchange, I think was probably.
I don't think they did any money exchanges.
No one had any money.
Yeah, except the Suzak, but they don't count. Anyway,
just stopping that bag of worms right there. Soft game start. That was kind of the point we were trying to get our camp set up in the Vata Swamp. And
it was not going well.
Was not going well. Not everyone's tents were set up.
I had totes everywhere.
As I can probably say
I had totes everywhere the entire time. I am so sorry, everybody. I am so sorry. I did not want them to be everywhere.
For the entirety of the game, our camp was out of game. It wasn't supposed to be, but it was.
Yeah.
Well, at least I want to say
like semi out of game. If you could ignore the totes, it was fine.
Yeah.
But we didn't have enough tarps to cover things. My truck got moved all the way to out of game parking, and the trailer got disconnected after it got stuck because Joel got my truck and trailer stuck. Okay, he got it stuck in the mud because the out of game had a giant mud pit as well.
It was a hill. Everything was hilly, so like we are.
Yeah, so he got it stuck in there. It took several people taking the trailer off and pushing it up, and then we just left it, and we were like, okay, get the truck out. We're done.
Exactly, and
so we would have had to walk forever and a half to put them in the trailer, and I didn't want to put them in the trailer because then we might not have been able to get the trailer back out.
Mm-hmm. I'm so thankful we did because game ended early. We would have been there so much longer, so much longer.
Yeah.
Because it was hard enough. Like it took us probably a good 8 hours to pack up everything.
Well, we also weren't packing just our stuff.
Yes, that's a good point.
We helped a lot around the camp, getting things put away, helping other people.
I'm sorry. We'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
It took us ages, but that would have been even worse if we actually put all the out-of-game stuff into out-of-game. Mm-hmm. That would have been awful. Yeah. I do want to say one thing about the parking. So, to explain the parking, originally they were supposed to be on-site. Everyone was supposed to be on-site. They didn't work out because of the whole grab situation. And so what they did is they, like we said, ferried people to London. Again, 20 to 40 minutes away. And then they had...
One direction.
Yeah, so they had people drive there and then ferried back. And there were a lot of troopers, a lot of great people who helped out with their own vehicles to do...
Ogvi volunteered to shuttle. I believe Sig volunteered to shuttle.
Did Gaudier?
I think Gaudier might have.
I think Gaudier did.
Yeah.
And one of the Suzak did. I forgot his name.
I don't know any of the Suzak members' names.
Yeah, I smacked him with a stick. I know that. I'm pretty sure I smacked him with a stick.
Only at LARP.
Only at LARP. But yeah, so parking was a nightmare. But one of the funniest things I've actually been waiting to say on this YouTube video. So you know the History of Everything podcast, right? He was there at the event. He was there. Oh. I didn't interact on the entirety of the game. But the funniest thing is when it was on the second build day, I think you might have been gone on the lowest trip. But basically, everyone was... Was it first day?
I did not leave second day.
A lot of crap. A lot of vehicles got stuck in the out of game parking. Mm-hmm. And my funniest thing is we were trying so hard to get one out, and we just look over, and there he is at the front gate, who had just pulled in with his like Jeep or car or whatever, and he had the funniest face, just like a really concerned, like, what is going on? It was the funniest thing. And then that was the last I saw him. I didn't see him at all for the entirety of the game.
I saw people who we were friends with very little through the game.
Yeah.
To be fair, again, it was only like 26 hours.
300
so...
people, yeah. I did see him later because he was looking for the trash can. I'm like, right there. Anyway, that was what I was to say. That was just the funniest face of just like, okay, yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
We were still talking about soft
We saw soft start.
Yeah.
So
that was the only night my violin came out of the tent and got played.
I really liked it. I really enjoyed that small time because so you've been planning a whole bard thing for ages now.
Yeah.
One of the things you said when we first did the interview was that was why you were coming, is to play your instrument with other people.
Did it happen? Not really. No.
Finnick, was Finnick had his guitar?
Finnick had his guitar. Owen had his mandolin, but
I think
none of us know how to tune a violin to other instruments. And we were like,
I have no idea about any instruments, so...
So we all ended up just kind of like goofing off and sort of playing near each other more than anything else. We did do some stuff. I think Finnick played his guitar and I sang at one point. Mostly it ended up being more just rehearsal time. So even if I know the song really well, it's really hard to focus on what it is I'm supposed to be focusing on, and instead I'm focusing on not screwing up, and instead I'm screwing up more. But if I have it memorized like I did Hazel Eyes, it's a lot easier to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my goal for next year, is to have a bunch of stuff memorized.
Speaking of the bards, I do want to say, shout out to someone I met I've been talking in Discord for a while, Mazi.
Oh, yeah, he started the Bard Discord.
Yes, I'm buddies with him in the Living in Anarchism Discord, and it was actually cool to meet someone that I've been talking to for a while.
You got to
In
meet
game.
him?
Well, kind of. I only knew I met him after the fact. And I was like, oh, wait, this guy was here. Oh, shoot, he was the bard? I hope you enjoy your map. I gave them a map as a tip for the barding at the Masquerade. But again, we'll get to the Masquerade later. Anyway, again, I'm really sorry you didn't get the chance to do the music and stuff like that. I enjoyed the little bit you did do.
Yeah. Were you even there?
I was there. I was trying to
okay.
set up camp, and
Oh, that's right, you were.
I was in the background doing crap.
I'd been working my butt off, and I was like, you know what? I really want to play right now. I'm going to take 10 minutes to play. So I did. And it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
But I did have to tune my violin
Multiple times.
3 times in less than 30
It was
minutes.
humid. It was humid.
It was so humid.
Which I didn't know
and-
messed with instruments.
Yeah, it does. A lot.
I don't know. Anyway, that was kind of soft game start. A lot of stuff didn't get set up. Tyrese didn't get set up.
We did get the sunshades up.
We did get the sunshades. We did get the sunset up, which is very important. Because they didn't stay up, and that's our tradition to actual game day. This took so much editing to get this down, and if you want to check out the next episode, it's right here.